Berwick 35, Kirkcaldy 19. If anyone doubted Berwick's presence in this division, they won't now. Resolute defending blessed with a free-flowing game that at times was breathtaking. Kirkcaldy played their part too, and Wilroo squandered opportunities and wrong options. Berwick began nervously though, until Rory Hindhoff shrugged off 2 defenders for their opener. 5 tries in total, Jack Webster converting the lot. Staunch defending on their line kept the visitors at bay, until Dale Turner found a gap and Finlay Smith converted. Back came Berwick, and Ben Nicholson's try saw the half-time score read 14-7. Alex Brooks then clawed it back to a 2-point game, but then a superb drive from Ryan Wilson soon made it 21-12. And yes, Berwick again tested in defence, but their backline excelled at every opportunity thanks to their creative forwards. A breathtaking individual try from James Thompson earned the bonus point. He added a second late on, in between Timmy Kennedy scored for Kirkcaldy. Smith converting his second. Both teams played their part, but on this evidence, make no mistake, Berwick have learnt how to adapt to this division. But there's no room for complacency. There's still the rest of the season to go. Berwick 35, Kirkcaldy 19. Jack Webster, goodness me, take us through that in your own words.
Yeah, first half it was quite an even battle, I think. 2 teams looking to play a bit of rugby. I think they were trying to, fling it side to side, maybe stretch us a bit, and maybe caught us a bit off guard in the first sort of 20 minutes. But thought it was a much improved performance by us compared to the People's game here a couple of weeks ago and even last week. So yeah, happy with the result.
In a way, it was a bit like the Falkirk game, wasn't it? Staunch defending, and then suddenly you came back into it.
It was a little bit, yeah. They had some sort of, they were hitting wider, even off the forwards, and then looking to sling it wider again in the backs, and then come back the other way and sling it wide again. So again, yeah, it took us a couple of minutes to adapt to it, but I thought we defended really well. We were tight in the middle, tried to force them to go wide, and a lot of big hits in the middle, some good defensive performances as well. And I thought when we had the ball, we were pretty clinical with our chances.
You talk about the defensive side. Were you aware how big a pack they had?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of, it is a step up from last year, obviously, and that's one thing we noticed is most of the teams have got fairly good sized packs, but we have as well. We got some big boys in there, and I mean, it was clear to see pretty early on how they were wanting to play. So I think we had them worked out, but good defensive shift in the end.
Good expansive play too, free flowing. I mean, you ruled the roost at times.
Yeah, we didn't have much of the ball probably again. First half, if I was to guess, maybe 30-40% tops. But when we did get it, we know how we want to play. We've had our same sort of style for the last couple of years that we're working on, and when it comes together, we can produce some really good tries.
Just a word about next week. You're playing a team who are currently bottom. I'm not sure how they got on today, but obviously complacency won't set in.
No, I mean, I keep saying it every week, this league's totally different to last year, and there's no easy games. We went up to Cartha last week, who I don't think they'd won a game before we played them as well, and like I said last week, we took our foot off the pedal once we got a couple of scores up, and they really came back into it and gave us a bit of a scare at the end. So there'll definitely be no complacency next week. We'll hopefully look to build on this week's performance, and we'll be going up there full of confidence.
Obviously a great win, but we mustn't forget against Peebles, yes, they had a lot of the play, but you still grabbed a bonus point off the leaders.
Yeah, I mean, bonus points are crucial in any league, but the way this league's shaping up, there's a lot of teams, a few shock results, teams maybe everyone sort of beating everyone, so it's the kind of thing that league positions could come down to bonus points at the end of the season. So to get that bonus point against Peebles was it could prove vital at the end of the season. Again, to get 4 tries today, to get the bonus point today as well, again, could prove crucial. So yeah, very happy.
Colin Young, take us through that, an absorbing game.
Yeah, no, it was a very absorbing first half. I thought we defended really, really well in patches. We had to hold them up over the line twice in the first half. And we took our opportunities when we had ball in hand, which was very, very pleasing today.
How pleased were you with the creativeness of the forwards who carried the ball well too?
Absolutely, I thought we moved the ball well in the forwards today. We had some big runners, some big carriers, getting us on the front foot, and when we got quick ball we looked dangerous. When we had some slow ball, allowed Kirkcaldy to regroup.
Am I allowed to say it took you a while to settle in?
Absolutely, no, it did take us a while. I think it was probably 10-15 minutes into the game before we really settled in to any kind of shape or structure, whether it was nerves or what, or whether Kirkcaldy just kind of nullified our game plan. But once we settled in, I thought we looked outstanding for 60 minutes anyway.
It was breathtaking at times, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think at times, I said that to the guys, we need to know and learn how to do a bit of game management at times. But that's the way they want to play. as well. You know, I give them a game plan, they're happy with it, and they want to pursue it. And there is a bit of hair and scaring at times, but when it comes off, it's great. When it doesn't, it's a little bit frustrating. But they're confident with the ball in hand that they quite easily adapt and go back to how they want to enjoy and play rugby.
Well, this was a very good victory, but complacency is a key issue. You are away to strugglers again next week, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't think we're a complacent side. We've said that every single game this season is going to be like a cup final. When we've been in the lower leagues, I think you get 1 or 2 games in the season, but we've said that every single game, home or away, for the whole duration of the season will be cup final games. You won't get an easy game unless you're prepared to work and grind it out early on in the game. You might get a biggish score, but that comes from work rate and not being complacent.
There is a saying, patience is a virtue. Does that play a big part in your setup here, or am I wrong?
I think we've said that to the guys as well throughout the season. At times we've got to be patient. I think Berwick is a bit of a sleeping giant as a club and whole. These boys have had the privilege to coach for probably 3 or 4 seasons, some of the younger ones, and we're building something nicely. So I'd like to think patience is a virtue, and then in 3 years' time it really pays off to see what height of rugby we can actually get to.
The positives far outweigh the negativeness of Berwick at the moment. What has pleased you most?
I just said that to the guys there. I gave them little 2 negatives after the game, but I said there's 1,000,001 positives. But the one thing I really see with this, like it's a rugby family, and I'm privileged to be at the head of that family. And these guys just love playing for each other, training with each other to the point that they die for each other in the park, and that they're a really close bunch of guys, set of guys that want to do well for each other and then go home and enjoy it with their own families.
I don't want to spoil the party, but is scrummaging still a point, an issue for you or not?
No, I think the people's game was. People might say that scrummaging was.
Well, I noticed it against Falkirk too.
But I thought today our scrum was well, and also last week our scrum was well. We brought Jordan Patterson in. I think he's tightened it up a little bit. Look, the scrum's a big part of rugby union, and I think if you give away a penalty, the referee will always give away penalty. But we just see it as a way to hopefully restart the game and move on. I don't want to get into a scrummage and wrestle, fight week in, week out. You know, if it's how people want to set up their game plan, play to their strength, I suppose, but that's not the way we play rugby. We want to play attacking rugby and get it away from the set piece.
Well, however the opposition want to play against you, you don't get thrashed. You even picked up a bonus point against the leaders Peebles. I mean, you've cemented your place in this division.
Yeah, let's see where we are in a couple of weeks' time, but we're going well. We're going really well, pleasing. You know, saying we cemented our place in the league is a little bit early. I don't want to ever be complacent, but I'm more than happy with how the boys are performing, and they want to get better. They want to progress in Scottish rugby, as in up the leagues, or whether some of them want to go to other clubs or Super 6 if that may be a thing next season. Look, I only want people to enjoy it, and that's why I played rugby, and that's why I'm doing the coaching of rugby through the whole enjoyment of it. There's nothing personal in it. I just want these guys to really thrive in what they're doing on the rugby pitch.
You want them to play with a smile on your face?
Absolutely. Get the top 2 inches right. It's an old saying, an old cliche. Get the top 2 inches right. Play with a smile on your face, and what will be, as long as you leave everything on the pitch and don't come and say if, buts and maybes. Give it all on the pitch. And that's all I can ever ask of my players.
Well, words of wisdom there, Colin. Finally, you did touch on the Super 6. I'm just going to ask you now about next season and the structure of it. Is that something you want to comment on or not?
Look, I'm not close enough to Super 6 rugby, and I just feel like for me the SRU need to give it some more time, shake it up a little bit, whether it's bringing in more teams, or whether they need to then broaden the horizon, make it like a Super 6 then after the final, the 6 teams get split up and play some competitive rugby duel together. So like, say for example, the Knights and maybe Harriers Blues come together, and Ayrshire Bulls and Stirling come together, and then play each other again in another round robin, and then try and progress or get them into the Glasgow setups or academies. You know, they've got this opportunity to do something. Don't put them back in the Clubland rugby for me, because it's spoiling the Clubland rugby, because you've got Kelso there probably high flying in the league above us. Watsonians might bring all their players back in and it might spoil Kelso's whole season, something like that. A one victory or a one defeat against Watsonians. It's wrong for me. They've made their bed, they line it for the season, but give them Super 6 more game time, competitiveness, because coming down is not competitive, because some of these guys will just go through club rugby.
First of all, could you take us through that game in your own words?
I think Berwick took the opportunities. They scored a lot of their tries from inside ball, but really created from their forwards. Their forwards carried well and got the momentum to go forward. So they just capitalised on that, and in fact they played well. So.
And what about your own game? Forgive me for saying this, but was it strewn with errors at the wrong time?
Yeah, strewn with errors, personnel changes, but at the same time, you have to give credit to Berwick for playing the way they played. They took it to us, and especially in their forward pack. Their forward pack carried well. Big boys that got them in the front foot, and obviously they scored where they scored. So.
Well, 2 defeats doesn't end the season, and you still have a game in hand over those above, don't you? Where you were today, anyway.
Yeah. Well, we've got a Friday night game now against Peebles, which will be a tough task because they're riding high at the moment. So yeah, so we'll need to regroup, and good thing is it's at home, so it'll be a good win if we can get a win against them.
And finally, from a Berwick perspective, they're new to this division. They don't get thrashed. I mean,
no, that's the thing. If you've got this division, I think if you've got a pack, and they certainly have a pack. If you've got a pack that can get you ball and get you goal forward ball, they'll certainly do well.
Talking of packs, you've got one too.
Yeah, well, our pack is probably one of the strengths we have, but not today.